groggy. Whatever Hartman had bumped in me was making me numb. I felt like this was happening to someone else. Someone I was watching on television. I couldn't think. Couldn't focus. The door was locked. I was a prisoner here.
Good evening, Alan. Are we feeling better now? Feeling calm?
Yeah. I see you brought your pet gorilla with you. So sure, I'm calm. I get the message. Loud and clear.
Quite right. That's the spirit. You're being very brave, Alan. I understand you're confused. I would be more concerned if you weren't suspicious of me. I don't blame you for it.
Big of you.
Now, why don't you come with me? We'll reacquaint you with my clinic and go over everything you might have forgotten. Little walk and some fresh air? Yes, it will do you good. This corridor is for patients. Most of them aren't here right now. Jack took them out for a fishing trip. Except for the ones who are particularly vulnerable, of course. I encourage creativity as a part of the recovery process here at Cauldron Lake Lodge. I specialize in treating artists.
I bet you do.
Splendid, Alan. I honestly believe we can get this thing under control if we work together. This way, Alan. Now, Alan, from past experience with you, I know I need to get right into the heart of the matter as quickly as I can after an episode. So I'm just going to say this. Alice is dead.
No.
You're in a very vulnerable state until you understand and accept this. Alice drowned, and you couldn't face that. You're suffering from hallucinations, paranoid delusions, unusual thinking, an obsession about light and darkness, a feeling that everything revolves around you, your thoughts and dreams. Your mind has constructed an elaborate fantasy scenario in which your writings are affecting reality. She has been kidnapped, and supernatural forces of darkness are trying to stop you. We go this way, Alan.
I wasn't ready for another shot, so I went along with it. He had to be lying. But under the influence of the drug he had given me, I had to fight not to believe his words.
It's all in your head. You've been making it up. Apart from the tragic accident with your wife, no one has been killed. Your delusions are just a manifestation of your subconscious mind trying to protect you from the too painful truth. Unless we fight the fantasy, it will return. I know the instinct is to resist me, but think about it. Doesn't this make far more sense than the insane supernatural conspiracy you have concocted in your mind? You're a skeptic by nature, Alan. We both know this. Everything can be explained logically. I never get tired of this view. Very inspiring, isn't it?
Cauldron Lake spread below us. I could see Mirror Peak on the other side of the lake. I thought I could make out the spot where Diver's Isle had been when I arrived with Alice. Now there was nothing but waves.
It seems there's a storm coming. Funny, I don't recall there being a mention of that in the weather forecast. Well, no matter. This way. Follow me. Alan, what I'm telling you is good news. Right now we're in control. Every time you have a relapse, it gets more and more difficult to resurface from the dark depths of your imagination. Not surprising, considering your profession. Imagination is what you work with. After all your nightmares, this should come as an immense relief to you. If it doesn't, why is that? Because I'm lying? Or because you don't want to admit that you're not well? It's very natural for you to think of me as your enemy. It's part of the illness.
I let him talk.
After all,
Hartman
I'm the
obviously
one
loved his
trying to
own
bring you
voice.
out of the
His
world
words
you've
echoed
constructed.
madly inside my head.
But
I
can't
dug my
do
nails
it
into
by
the palms of my
myself.
hands to stay
You need
focused.
to work with me. Once you accept that, we can begin the journey towards your recovery. Come along. Let's go inside. Here's the entrance to the office wing. That's for staff only. You were impressed by my trophies when you arrived here. I do love to hunt. The great outdoors, man versus nature. It's wonderful stuff.
Scary, scary, scary.
Emerson.
I'm a real bad dream, mister. You should be afraid of me. Don't want to run into me in the night, that's for sure.
Please, Emerson. Mr. Wake is confused enough as it is.
Yeah, you'd like me to go away so you won't be scared. But you can't just decide what kind of dream you have or when you have it.
Emerson.
Okay, okay. Sorry. Boo.
Alan, please, this way. Now, you might have noticed the typewriter in your room. You've been writing as a part of the therapy. As soon as you feel up to it, you should continue.
My rheumatism's killing me. There's a storm coming. Oh, what a storm.
I hope it wipes this place off the face of the earth.
And these two are the Anderson brothers, Odin and Tor. They had a, how should I put this? A heavy metal band in the 70s and 80s called Old Gods of Asgard. They even adopted new first names to complete the image of Viking gods. After the band broke up, they lived on a farm nearby. They are, well, in advanced stages of dementia. They're well cared for, TLC and all that. There's nothing more that can be done. I'm afraid that the rock and roll lifestyle has left its mark.
No es aceptable. Siento tener que dejarte por ahora, Alan. La electricidad ha estado haciendo cosas raras. Será mejor que vaya a ver. Pero volveré. Mientras tanto, cuando quieras, vuelve a tu cuarto e intenta concentrarte. Escribir te hará bien. ¿No crees?
Me gustaría machacarle la cabeza con un martillo.
¡Oh! Y a él le encantaría arrancarnos nuestros secretos, pero no se entera. Está demasiado cuerdo. No como nosotros, chaval.
¡Sí!
Estar chalado es condición indispensable, muchacho. ¿Quién si no podría entender un mundo como este? Hay que estar loco para poder entender la locura.
Es lo más cuerdo que he oído nunca.
Zane. Razón no te falta, Tom. Nos gusta, ¿verdad, hermano? Tiene que ver la granja.
La granja Anderson. ¡Valhalla!
Lo escribimos todo por si se nos olvidaba. Un cursillo básico. Todo lo que debes saber para poner tu mente en orden. Tienes que encontrar el mensaje.
Toma, chaval, es para ti. A mí me daba sarpullido, pero lo protegí de esos cabrones.
My head was clearing up, or according to Zane could feel the poems, taking form, shaping things. As he experimented, he imagined he could almost feel the power surging through the keys of the typewriter. It exhilarated him. But there was fear, too. If not for his young assistant Emil, he would have given it up. But Emil convinced him otherwise. He too had a way with words. Hartman, I was sinking back into the fantasy. I was convinced he was lying to me about everything. Crazy or not, the Andersons made more sense.
Well, he's the boss.
I may need a hand here later on, Burge. The storm's bound to make you-know-who jumpy. You know how they get.
Gotcha. Doc's got me looking after.
Something's wrong.
I'll do that, Burge.
El fulgor del folio en blanco me hacía daño a los ojos. Las manos comenzaron a temblarme sin control.
Wake, quédate aquí. Voy a ver qué pasa. Tú sigue con lo tuyo, no pares. Y tranquilo, ¿vale?
I didn't know what the chaos was all about, but it could be my only chance of getting out of here.
Where the hell did he get a damn hammer?
Oh, afraid of the crazy brothers, are ya? Not so weak now, are we? Well, things
It's my store. I'm taking it.
Hartman had mentioned that the power had been acting up. Maybe that was the reason for the generator and the work light on the balcony. The generator hadn't been activated, and there was no key.
Hammer's way will have its say. Rise up in there.
Hartman kept talking, giving Barry the grand tour, clearly proud of the place. He went on and on about his hunting trophies, and Barry was impressed. But he was here on business. He raised his voice, cut through the monologue. Hey, Hartman, where's Al? Hartman stopped in mid-sentence, annoyed at the interruption. He nodded at the hulking orderly standing nearby. The man smiled and clapped a practiced hand on Barry's shoulder.
The backstage
Sinclair
is
looked
all
bad.
yours, Tom.
That wasn't a love tap.
Seize your
The crazy old
destiny.
fart hit her hard. And if she was one of Hartman's goons, she had it coming. I had to get to Hartman's office. He had taken all my manuscript pages. That's where he'd been keeping them. The markings on the tape said they were recordings Hartman had made of the session. Hartman wasn't happy. Mott could see it in his eyes. He quickly lowered his own. He had made a mess of it, and he knew it. The shame of failure was hard to bear. He hadn't expected Wake to say he needed more time, and he blurted out 2 days, less than Wake had asked for to show him who was in charge. But that wasn't part of Hartman's plan. With his patients, I saw Alice's name on one of them. For a moment, I couldn't breathe right.
Now, Mrs. Wake, can you tell me about Alan's problems?
He's more and more out of control all the time. The parties, he's so angry all the time. He's getting violent.
Do you mean with you?
No, not with me. No, never. Sometimes I almost wish Alan would take a swing at me, because at least that lead to a conversation he couldn't just march out of. But no. Alan doesn't really sleep. And the work, well, he's not writing at all. He sits there for hours and just gets more and more frustrated. And I can't talk to him.
Yes. Tell me, Mrs. Wake, what would you say to him if he'd listen?
I don't know. I want to say, I look at you, and it's not you. Just some stranger who resembles you. Looking out from behind your eyes, and I don't like that guy much. And now it's all gonna go to hell.
But you don't ever say this.
No. I've tried, but he's not listening. He's too deep in his own problems, always going on about something else. I'm so afraid I'm gonna lose him, and we're not even talking anymore. He doesn't let me in anymore. He just keeps me in the dark. I'm so alone here, even when he's home. Please help me, Doctor, because I'm at my wit's end.
Well, if you can just get him here, I'll absolutely do my very best.
Yeah, but Doctor, you need to be careful with him. He's not just going to listen to you and cooperate. He's the most stubborn man I've ever met.
Well, I'll be sure to bear that in mind.
Hearing her voice, what she was saying made me happy and sick and guilty all at once. Worst of all, I recognized the words. The phone call from her. It had been a cut-up of this. Just a recording.
Let me out of here! Hartman, do you hear me? I'm gonna sue your crazy quack ass to shreds!
Barry?
Ow! About time!
Barry! Man, am I glad to see you. We need to get to Hartman's office.
It's right next door.
You okay?
Estas son todas las páginas que tenía encima. Y más.
Alan, por favor. Estás volviendo a caer en la...
Miénteme otra vez y te pego un tiro en la cara.
Bueno, tenía que intentarlo. Venga, Wake, hombre. Vamos a trabajar juntos para arreglar esto. No te haces idea de...
Hartman, cállate. Barry, sal de aquí. Luego te alcanzo. Consigue un coche.
Al, ¿por qué no?
Wake, escúchame. Estás cometiendo un error. ¿No lo ves? Juntos podemos crear algo simplemente maravilloso con tu habilidad y mi...
The dark presence would be on me in a moment. I had to find a way out. Hartman followed the fall of Alan Wake with his binoculars. When the rider hit the water, he ordered Jack to take the boat to him. The spot was easy to see in the dark, even with all the extra lights in the boat. The flare floated and kept burning even in the water. Jack turned the radio louder as the engine sputtered. The music was rough and clanking, something the Anderson brothers would no doubt have enjoyed. But Hartman chose to ignore it. Wake was finally within his reach. I needed light to get the possessed bookshelves out of my way. Hartman knew he was no creator. He had no ambitions on that front. And he certainly didn't want to end up like every artist he had worked with here, damaged in ways that were hard to describe, or worse. It was enough for Hartman to maintain creative control and provide direction, to be a producer. That was what most of these people were in need of anyway. Of course, suitable subjects were few and far in between.
Found the car, but the gate's locked. You're gonna have to go through the hedge maze over there.
Barry, I don't have a light.
Take this, Al. Oh, God! Look at the house!
I stared at the Viking paraphernalia that littered the area, surrounding an unlikely centerpiece. A full-size stage complete with an impressive sound system with all the trimmings, including a dragon. It took a special kind of crazy to build something like this in a remote field. When the sky split open with a deafening boom and the music started blasting, it felt strangely appropriate. Hartman wasn't happy. Hartman hurried down the corridor. He had disliked leaving Wake when he was surely at his most susceptible to therapy. But this was not an ordinary storm. Wake had been writing, and he had woken something up in the depths of the lake. Now, it was coming for him. Hartman had naturally prepared for a situation like this. The idiot brothers would keep Wake distracted while Hartman double-checked everything, just to be sure.
If you can't rule the channel, we'll turn it off. It makes people sad. You get 2 pills in the morning, and then you'll be nice and calm. 3 pills in the evening.
Mott knew that Wake was smarter than him. Wake had more money, a beautiful wife, everything. And Hartman said Wake was important. That made him better than Mott. But Mott was calling the shots now. He'd expected Wake to whimper and grovel, but instead, he seemed willing to fight. Mott knew he'd gotten under Wake's skin. If only Mott actually had his wife. The thought made him shiver. For the moment, Barry was just glad he had survived the fall. He had been separated from Al, and there was no easy way to climb back up. He told himself he'd be okay in the gloomy forest at night. He would just have to wait for a while for Al to find his way down. Barry turned when he heard the heavy footsteps and saw the movement. The man-shaped shadow lunged at him from the bushes, an axe held high. Barry screamed and threw up his hand. The world exploded. Hartman watched as Wake's features slackened. The man was bullheaded, no doubt. Even lying on the bed, he'd almost broken Hartman's nose the second time. But with a little time, he could break Wake down, give him proper direction. Wake was easily the most promising subject he'd had. Well, since Tom, really. "Sleep well, Alan," Hartman whispered with a smile. "Let me take care of you." He sniffed hard to clear his throbbing nose, swallowed blood, and barely tasted it.
Let's get out of here. can you open this gate?
Maybe.
Barry!
Well, I slammed it shut when the nasty showed up, and the key fits kind of loose in the lock, so, I'll find it, don't worry about it!
Hurry up, Barry! Hurry up, Barry! Hurry up, Barry! Hurry up, Barry!
Por favor, dime que vamos hacia el cartel de... Está usted saliendo de Bright Falls, vuelva pronto.
Vamos a la granja de los Anderson y basta.
Sabía que ibas a decir algo así. ¿Sabes qué? Me debes una bien grande, amigo. Cuando acabe todo esto, si salimos de una pieza, se acabó la oscuridad y me da igual lo que digan los demás. Me vas a regalar una cama de rayos uva y voy a vivir dentro.
Estoy loco. Pero no pasa nada, Barry.
Ya lo creo, Al. Estás como una cabra. Eres desde luego el más loco que...
Pero puede que sea inevitable cuando te enfrentas a cosas delirantes como estas. Pido ayuda. Esto está pasando, Barry. Alice nunca la tuvieron. Está atrapada en las tinieblas del fondo del lago, pero no está muerta.
Al, ¿cómo puedes saberlo?
Lo sé, Barry.
Al...
No, escúchame. Puedo traerla de vuelta, la encontraré. Este lugar tiene algo especial. El lago influye de alguna manera en las obras de arte que se crean aquí. Hace que se vuelvan ciertas. Pero hay truco. La presencia oscura, sea lo que sea, lo retuerce todo para sus propios fines. Por eso está pasando todo. Está usando mi manuscrito para hacerse con el control.
Al, te creo.
Ya le pasó antes a Thomas Zane y también a los Anderson.
Te creo, estés loco o no, sé que no deliras. Están pasando cosas de lo más raro, está claro. Estoy de tu parte, estoy contigo.
Los Anderson lo sabían, pero estaban demasiado confundidos por todas las drogas que les habían dado. Pero lo escribieron. Dejaron un mensaje en algún lugar de su granja. Tenemos que encontrarlo.
¡Cuidado! ¡Al! ¡Maldita sea, Al! ¡Habla conmigo!
I had lost my gun in the crash. Barry was nowhere to be seen.
Barry! Barry!
Oh, man, you're okay! Jeez, it's good to hear your voice! I was trying to get out of the car, but the ground gave way! Man, what a drop! And don't worry, your cutout is fine.
Forget that! Are you okay?
I hit some bushes, didn't get a scratch! There's no way you can climb down, though! It's like a sheer wall! Ah! Al! There's something moving down here!
Barry, it's a take-it! Use a flare, Barry!
Yeah!
Barry, are you alright?
I'm good, Al! I'm great! Guess you never messed with anyone from New York City before, huh?
Barry, just wait for me, okay?
Al! I'm not staying here! It's suicide! I'm going to the farm! I'm gonna go ahead and secure the area! You can catch up! Don't worry about it! I'm on the case!
Now he's Rambo. This would turn into a disaster if I didn't catch up with Barry. When he stopped the car at the Anderson farm, Walter felt relieved. Oblivion was close at hand. The brothers wouldn't miss a jar of moonshine or two in the booby hatch. But then he saw the man on the porch, and he knew who it was. Driving for his life and knowing it was useless, he didn't realize he was crying until he couldn't see the road for the tears. Shadows crawled over the gate. I needed a light to destroy them to get through. I hoped there'd still be a working generator somewhere around. Agent Nightingale stared at the passed-out rider. The man was sleeping off one hell of a night. Nightingale felt a stab of envy at Wake's oblivion, but he had a job to do. He put the gun to Wake's head and almost became a murderer. His hand shook and his throat felt tight and dry. Biting his teeth, he tried again to pull the trigger. He lost the nerve. Wake stirred. Nightingale would have to settle for an arrest. Down here to power up the old lights by the gate. I could sense the movement in the woods ahead. Facing the enemy without a weapon was dangerous, but I had no choice. I could sense the movement in the woods ahead. Facing the enemy without a weapon was dangerous, but I had no choice. I could sense the movement in the woods ahead. Facing the enemy without a weapon was dangerous, but I had no choice. car was driving away from the farm, headed in the same general direction as I was. For all I knew, it was Barry, caught in the consequences of leaping before looking. The car was heading for the cabin up ahead. It wasn't far. If it was Barry, I would see the damage soon.
I'm trying to deliver each page to the right time and place. I'm trying to show you how the story goes.
I had seen glimpses of the light before. I had seen it in my dream. It was a strange spaceman or a diver in a bulky suit. He was the one who'd been placing the pages on my path. Someone had left a gun behind. Now I had a fighting chance of reaching the farm. The storm raged on as the Anderson brothers walked unsteadily away from the clinic with the other patients in tow, knowing that this time they wouldn't return. The darkness around them seethed with horrors, but Tor and Odin were unafraid. Their eyes glinted with guile. They knew every secret path, and there was blood on their hands. They had fought these shades before. I could see the car, but there was no sight of the driver.
Hello? Anybody here? Barry!
No! Daddy! Please! What are you? No! I'm sorry!
I know you. You were in jail the other day.
I went to the farm again for the moonshine, you know? It makes you see. They're not gonna miss it. They're in the loony bin. But my buddy, Danny, I lost him. Something's gone wrong with him. It's not him. Like a real bad follow-up to a real good movie. The best friend's suddenly the bad guy. Who wrote this crap anyway?
I've run through every possible course in my head. If I continue like the Dark Presence wants me to, the story I'm writing won't save Alice. It's a horror story, and it's going to kill her, and me, and everybody in this town. No one will survive. Darkness will consume everything. This is what it's wanted all along. It will be free, unstoppable. It used Alice to get to me, dangled her in front of me to keep me going. It was never going to release her. I'm going to change this. I'll escape. I've written myself into the story. I'm now the protagonist. This feels like a terrible risk, but it's the only way to save Alice. I'll be bound by the events of the story just as much as anyone else who's been woven into it. The story must stay true for this to work. There have to be victims along the way, near escapes, cliffhangers. In a horror story, it can't be certain that the hero will succeed or even survive. He almost has to die. I'll write my own escape into the story next. I need help. Zane's going to be the one who will help me. I'll make it happen. Let me guess. Danny, huh? The farm was still a good distance away. I'd need a car to get there fast. For a moment, Hartman considered strangling the idiot. Mott was mean-spirited, but easily manipulated, an emotional infant who lived for his approval. Wake, by contrast, was a far more difficult subject. Mott had given him too much leash. In 2 days, who knew what could happen? Hartman would have to find a way to rein him in, and quickly. If Barry wasn't up here, he was probably in trouble down at the farm. For a moment, I felt bad for doubting him. After all, I'd made it this far myself. But Barry was Barry.
Well, as I'm sure everyone's noticed, that storm we all felt coming is finally here. The boys at the Weather Service reckon it'll last until morning at the very least. Pertaining to that, let me read that missing persons alert again. The Sheriff's Department's still looking for a Caucasian woman, 30 years old, slim and blonde with blue eyes. She may be lost in the woods, and it's possible she's been injured in a car accident. If you see her, please make sure you get her indoors and call the sheriff. It's bad weather to be caught out in, so if you see someone in the area who maybe looks a little confused, give him a hand, all right? This is Pat Maine on KBF FM, hoping you're all safe and warm tonight.
I'd known the brothers used to be some kind of rock stars, but it hadn't really sunk in until I saw the stage.
¡Corre! ¡Son demasiados! ¡Ah! ¡Maldita sea!
I'm so glad you decided to go it alone, Mr. Bronson.
Shut up and shoot. Al! We have to fight them off! We cannot blow the fireworks from here! Hold on! I'll try to get the stage lights on!
I'm so glad you decided to go it alone, Mr. Bronson.
Shut up and shoot! Ow! Yes! Here we go! Wheeler to the rescue! Damn turn of the century wiring!
I'm so glad you decided to go it alone, Mr. Bronson.
Shut up and shoot!
I'm so glad you decided to go it alone, Mr. Bronson. Oh! Oh! decided to go it alone, Mr. Bronson. Bright Falls, rock and roll capital of America.
Hey, Al! This way to the farm! See, bestseller? No reason to worry. Your cutout's good as new, right where I left it. I'll come back for it once we have the place secured.
Yeah, that's been my biggest worry all this time. We need to get this thing moved out of the way.
This is as far as I got, before they ambushed me.
As the deputies hauled Wake and Wheeler away, Agent Nightingale eagerly examined the stack of papers Wake had been carrying. It was incomplete, a collection of random pages, but there was enough. He saw his own name in there, among others. His hand shook with emotion. Finally, it was proof. He had been right all along.
Hey, I think Alan Wake here has something to say. What's that, Al? They really went all out with this Viking crap, didn't they? Look at all this stuff. They must have done okay for themselves, so how come I never heard of these guys before?
And this from the guy who learned about Ozzy Osbourne through reality TV?
The Viking boat looked imposing, almost like a battering ram.
Oh, good going, Al!
It's 1976. Madness reigns at the Anderson farm. Contrary to all logic, the headiest ingredient of their moonshine is unfiltered water from Cauldron Lake. The Andersons feel like gods. Odin can't stop laughing. He contemplates cutting his eye out. Tor runs across the field, naked, shrieking, hammer in his hand, trying to catch lightning. Their songs have power. Something ancient is stirring in the depths, coming back.
I think we can make it through here, Al!
Sleep. We all spend a third of our dreams.
means we keep him happy.
Wow! Those geezers had quite a production going on. Ooh, you know what, Al? If we make it through this alive, I'm gonna start representing them. Yep, sell this stuff online, maybe get a reality show going, release a new single.
Good luck with that, pal.
Hey, you find us a way out of here, okay? I'm gonna take a closer look at this stuff.
The door was barred from the other side. I'd have to find another way.
Be careful, Al!
I'm good. Keep your eyes open, okay?
As you regular listeners know, I tend to work through the night, but I'm not the only one. Deputies Mulligan and Thornton are taking a couple of moments off their busy schedule to join me here in the studio. Boys, how busy are you now? Deerfest is almost here, isn't it? I bet that keeps you in business.
Pretty busy, yeah. Actually, Pat, we've been real busy with other stuff, which concerns an ongoing investigation. We can't talk about that, Thornton.
I wasn't gonna say anything. I was just saying we got, you know, other irons to fry.
And how would you compare your workload to last year's? Things have seemed relatively peaceful to me, but people do tend to get a little wild this time of year.
Oh, it's wild, Pat. It's pretty wild. There's been all sorts of trouble this year. Vandalism, fighting, public disturbances. A lot of people gone missing, too.
Yeah, it's pretty much the usual stuff, Pat. Just, you know, a lot more of it.
Now, is it just me, or does Deerfest get wilder every year? People seem to be more drunk, at least, or they start earlier and younger.
Oh, it's definitely not just you, Pat, but...
Definitely, Pat.
Hey, I'm talking here, Thornton. Oh, shoot, I lost my train of thought.
Not just me.
Oh, yeah, it's wilder, Pat, but actually most of the trouble seems to be coming from grown men. People who ought to know better, you know? Kids are doing fine this year.
Well, that's nice to hear at least. Boys, I want to thank you for stopping by. I'll let you get back to your patrol.
Sure thing, Pat.
Yeah, sure thing, Pat.
I could see the building that had to be the Andersons' home on the other side of the field. The It wasn't far now. I wasn't worried about trusting the ramblings of two burned-out geriatric wrecks. They had the goods.
Got to be kidding me.
Al? Is that you out there, buddy?
Yeah, it's...
Hey, let's go, man. Ah! Hey, I think that's the farm on the other side of the field. We're almost there. This farm is a crazy place for crazy people.
We should feel right at home then.
Come on, one more gate. Let's do this thing.
Again, Alice's screams rang in the stillness of the night. I saw myself run toward the cabin, flashlight in my hand. I followed my past self. I was an out-of-body observer, a time traveler in a crazy drunken dream. This was the beginning. The night Alice had disappeared. The mystery of what had happened during the missing week was about to reveal itself.
Can you hear that, Al? Music?
Of course. We need to find where it's coming from. That's the message the Andersons talked about. That's the whole reason we're here.
Lady of the Light? Oh, that's gotta be what's-her-face, the crazy lamp lady from the town.
Cynthia Weaver.
Right. Must be.
Igual que seas un cabrón y estés de atar, seguiré a tu lado, pase lo que pase, siempre, Al. Eres como un hermano.
Soy un escritor, hermanito.
Eso es.
Si quisiera, podría escribir 10 libros al año y serían las mejores novelas del año.
No, no puedes.
Tienes razón, no puedo. Pero podría. Soy un escritor.
¿Qué demonios le echan a esto? Siento como si se me fuera a salir el cerebro por la nariz. Voy a copiarles la receta de esos vejestorios y seré un millonario del alcohol.
Te ha hecho de menos, Barry. Me gustaría que estuviera aquí.
Lo sé, Al, lo sé. Todo saldrá bien. Haremos que salga bien.
It's all right. I'm coming.
It was a crazy drunken dream, and yet it was more than that. It was the truth, a suppressed memory unearthed by the Andersons' moonshine. I was there, an out-of-body observer. This was the night Alice and I had arrived at Bright Falls, the night Alice had disappeared. I had a chance to find out what had happened. I remembered being surprised to see the cabin dark. Alice would have never turned the lights off. I remembered thinking I caught a glimpse of her form underwater, sinking into the darkness. Diving after her was the last vague memory I had of that night. After that, the next thing I could remember was waking up behind the wheel of the crashed car and finding the first pages of the manuscript. Beyond this lost memory, there was nothing. I had to follow the footsteps of my past self to find out what had happened that night. I couldn't find her in all that blackness. I must have thought she drowned.
Alice!
Jagger had Alice, and
Alice!
so she had me.
Alice!
I'd been easy prey.
Look at the cabin. Is there someone in the window?
Alice?
Maybe she didn't drown after all. Maybe she's inside.
Alice!
Yes.
The dark presence had touched me. She had dug her nails into my brain and used me, made me her puppet.
She must be here somewhere. Maybe upstairs in the study. Alice! Yes, that's where she is. You can apologize.
Alice!
You'll laugh at the whole thing.
Alice?
She's not here. You were foolish to think so. No, she's dead. She drowned.
No, no, no!
It's your fault your wife is dead. You are guilty. All she wanted was to help you right. You killed her. Oh, hush. There's still hope. Cauldron Lake is a special place. Here, you have the power to change things. She wanted you to write. I will tell you what to do. You can write her back. The story will come true, and all will be well again.
She had Alice, and the manuscript was the ransom for her.
Sí. Escribiré. Lo resolveré. La traeré de vuelta. No. Yo lo escribí. Al fin lo recordaba todo. Escribí en la oscuridad durante días, casi una semana, el manuscrito casi completo de una novela titulada Parte. Jagger era mi editora y me susurraba al oído, asegurándose de que el argumento la hiciera más y más poderosa. Creía que estaba salvando a Alice. A pesar de las telarañas que puso en mi cabeza, una parte de mí permaneció lo bastante consciente como para escribir mi propia huida y llevar la luz a la cabaña antes de que pudiera terminar, interrumpiendo la historia de terror antes de escribir un final en el que las tinieblas lo consumían todo y a todos. Zane era débil y estaba muy lejos, pero yo le había incluido en la historia y su luz había bastado para liberarme.
Ahora no está aquí. Yo sí, porque así estaba escrito. He traído la luz para liberarte. Debes darte prisa. Sabrá que estoy aquí. Volverá pronto. Hace mucho tiempo le robó la piel a mi Bárbara. Parece tan vieja.
Me desperté confuso y aturdido, con la mente consumida por las tinieblas y el miedo. Lo único que podía hacer era huir.
Bárbara.
La semana en la cabaña estaba pasando factura. Perdía la conciencia a toda velocidad. Seguro que aquello tuvo un coste terrible para Zane y lo sumió aún más en la cima en la que ahora moraba. Había logrado debilitar a la presencia oscura. Esa noche estuve a salvo. Yo lo escribí. Es mi culpa.
Eso es, James Joyce. Es tu culpa y vas a pagar por ello.
Anteriormente en Alan Wake. Influido por la presencia oscura, escribí una historia de terror que se hace realidad. Jagger fue mi editora, para asegurarse de que el relato la hiciera cada vez más y más poderosa. Una parte de mí fue lo bastante consciente como para escribir mi huida.
Podemos crear algo simplemente maravilloso.
El lago influye de alguna manera en las obras de arte que se crean aquí, hace que se vuelvan ciertas. Mi madre me dio un interruptor viejo.
¿El chasqueador?
Alice está en una oscura prisión. Debo encontrar a Cynthia Weaver para acabar esto.
Es tu culpa y vas a pagar por ello.
Se espera una asistencia récord de los condados limítrofes. Naturalmente, esperamos batir el récord de la fiesta del alce celebrada el año pasado en la vecina Waters. Damas y caballeros, a veces me han preguntado qué tiene de especial la fiesta del venado, y creo que puedo resumirlo en 2 palabras. Amistad y comunidad. Nos espera una gran fiesta, pero intentad reservaros para mañana y no os echéis a perder esta noche, ¿vale?
Lo tengo. Alguien vendrá por ello cuando llegue el momento. Lo dijo Thomas, lo escribió. La clave es asegurarse. Mi deber es mantenerlo a salvo, bajo la luz. Siempre iluminado.
All the manuscript pages were gone. The FBI agent had taken them.
I think my tongue just took a crap in my mouth. Ugh. Oh, wait, we're in jail now? Al. Al, this is not good.
That about sums it up.
What?